Hello, you are welcome to Classic Fashion Design Academy YouTube channel. I'm Kehinde Oluwabukola Ogundare, Creative Director, KFD Academy. On this channel, I post DIY on fashion tutorials. Despite being a long time that I've posted video, I want to say thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for your likes and your share. Thank you for your encouragement that I should continue to post more videos. I appreciate you all. Thanks for the love. The last video was on basic skirts pattern. In this video, we are going to be looking at contour pencil skirts. Let's get into the class. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. In today's video, like I said, we are going to look at contour pencil skirts. Now, the previous video was on basic skirts pattern. Please, I refer you to that for better understanding. These are the measurement parameters that I'm going to work with. The waist is 31 inches, the hip is 37 inches, the knee length is 20 inches, and the full length of the skirt is 25 inches. This is like a three-quarter skirt. You can take whatever length you desire for your pencil skirt, but note that this skirt we are drafting is a contoured skirt at the back. It has more fullness at the back than the front. Please take note of that. Now set your margin on your template. This is my template. This is where I'm working on. You can use your brown paper as template. Please make sure that the width of your template will accommodate half of your hip measurement, being the largest measurement that I'm working with, and a little bit of margin on both sides. Now, when you have set your margin, this is my margin. The right margin is representing my center front. The left margin is representing my center back. Now, I also set my top line. The top line is also going to represent my waistline. Please take note that my measurement starts from where my margin intersects my waistline. This is my point 0 on both sides. I'm going to do the front and the back pattern together on the same template. So this is my waistline. From the distance between my waist to my hip is 8.5 inches, which you may also use in all cases. So from my waist to my hip line, the distance is 8.5 inches. Then I connect with a straight line. This is my hip line. From my waist measurement again, from my waistline rather, down to the length that I want, from my waistline, 25 inches, 25 inches, 25 inches. Then I also connect with a straight line. Please feel free to work with whatever measurement you choose. Just follow the process. Now, this is the waistline, this is the hip line, and this is the hem line or the full length line. Now, the waist measurement is 31. I'm going to divide by 4. My waist circumference is 31 inches. I'm going to divide it by 4, and I'm going to add that allowance to it. If I divide my waist by 4, I have 7.75, which is equivalent 7 3/4. If I divide my hip measurement by 4, that's 37 divided by 4, I have 9.25, which is equivalent 9 1/4. Now, I want to start by inputting my measurement parameters on my hip line instead of the waistline, and that is to put an illustration forward. Please, I want you to give attention to this explanation. Instead of starting on the waistline, I want to start inputting on the hip line. So like I said, my hip measurement, the hip measurement that I'm working with is 37. 37 divided by 4 is 9.25. which is equivalent 9 1/4. So I take my 9 1/4 from my point O. That is where my margin intersect my hip line. I measure the 9 1/4. From here to here is my 9 1/4. Now I'm going to do the same thing at the center back. because I'm drafting the two together. From point O here, 9 1/4. So this is my hip point for the front. This is my hip point for the back. Now, going to the waist. Now, before going to the waist, exactly what my hip measurement is, that is the 9 1/4. I want to repeat the same at the waistline. The same 9 1/4 that I have for the hip, I'm repeating the same thing at the waistline. The same 9 1/4 that I have at the back, I'm putting it on the waistline. Please, I'm doing that to make an illustration. Now, you know, my waist is 31 divided by 4, which is 7.75, which is equivalent 7 3/4. You know, at the waistline, we need to add our dart allowance. So if my waist is 7.75, what should be my dart intake? Please, I want you to follow this explanation. I want to show you how to determine what your dart intake is when you are making a skirt or any other design. You know, in most cases, you know, there is this idea of always adding 1 inch as dart allowance. Like, as the waist is 31 divided by 4, 7 3/4, we now go ahead and add 1 inch. I want to say no to that. No to that. That allowance may not always be 1 inch. For you to determine what your dart allowance should be, note that you should find the difference between your adjusted hip measurement and adjusted waist measurement. By adjusted, I mean after dividing by 4. Because waist and hip measurement is a sacrificial measurement that you must always divide by 4 when you are making your skirt pattern. So when I divide my waist by 4, I have 7.75, which is 7 3/4. The hip by 4, that is 37 divided by 4, I have 9.25, which is equivalent 9 1/4. Now, I want to show you that is the difference between the two that should determine what your dart allowance should be, and not always adding 1 inch as dart allowance. Please I refer you to the previous video that I made on patterning symbols to know what that is. Now, so the difference between the adjusted hip measurement and your adjusted waist measurement is what should determine your dart, and not always by adding 1 inch. So 9.25 minus 7.75, the difference between the two is 1.5. So 1.5 can be my dart allowance. You can see that I can use more than 1. It's not in all cases that allowance is 1 inch. Now that is in this case. What of is in other measurement parameters where the waist measurement and the hip measurement is exactly the same, because we don't have the same body structure. We have different body structure. Some people's waist and hip can be exactly the same thing. And when there is no difference between the dart and the hip, between the waist and the hip, where do you want to get the 1 inch that you are adding as that allowance? Even in you have some situation where the difference between the hip and the waist measurement is almost 10 inches. In such situation, you can have more than 1 inch as that allowance. As far as I'm concerned, you can use up to 2 inches as that allowance. So always consider the difference between your adjusted waist measurement, adjusted hip measurement and waist measurement before you decide what your dart is. So in this case now, our difference is 1.5. I can choose 1.5 as my dart allowance. And it's also good if I make 1 my dart allowance and use the remaining 0.5 for shaping. Just note that it's not in all cases that you have 1 as that allowance. In some measurement parameters, you don't even have that allowance at all. So now let's go ahead. So what I did here on my hip line is to use my hip measurement and use the same thing on my waistline. So on this waistline now, I can take, I'm having the difference of 1.5 here. So I can make 1 as my dart allowance. So it means 7 3/4 plus 1 inch. So that is 8 3/4. This is my 8 3/4. Actually, this is my 7 3/4 plus 1 inch is 8 3/4. So this is, you can see that I'm having an extra ½ inch allowance to shape my skirt. So that is how it should, that is how it should be before you decide on what your dart allowance should be. If the difference is not more than half, if the difference is 0.5, then it means you don't even have up to 1 inch as dart allowance. Thank you. Please take note of that. So this is 8 3/4. This is 8 3/4. So now I can connect my waist point to my hip point. Now take your French curve and connect this way. I do the same to the other side. So this is my waist point, this is my hip point, this is my waist point, this is my hip point for the front and back respectively. Now at this juncture, let's look at this juncture, I want to show you how to pencil the skirt. Now, I have my knee length, sorry about that, I have my knee length. I forgot to mention it. I have my knee length, which is 20 inches. So this is my knee length now, 20 inches from the waistline. This is my knee length, and this is now the full length. So now we are going to look at how to pencil the skirt at the hemline. Before we can pencil this skirt at the hemline, let's still make use of our hip measurement, which is 9 1/4. So at this hemline, this is my point O. I come here and mark my 9 1/4. I do the same thing for the back pattern. If I mark the 9 1/4, connecting it to the hip line is going to give me a straight line like this. It's going to give me a straight line. I do the same for the back, from my hip point to my hemline, giving me a straight line. Now we go to contouring the skirt front pattern. Along the hip, the hemline, come in by 2 inches max. It can be 1.5 to 2 inches. So I come in by 2 inches at the hemline. I do the same on both pattern, front and back. I come in by 2 inches. Now on the knee length line, the knee length line is 20 inches from the waistline. This is my knee length line. Go up by 4 inches. Go up by 4 inches along the side, along the side end. This is a straight line. Just go in by 2 inches too. Just drop a short length line like 2 inches, 4 inches above the knee length, 4 inches above the knee length. This short line is just to help you to bring out the hip curve shape. So now you connect your French curve this way from your hip line. Can you see it? From your hip line, from your hip point rather, from your hip point, connect the 2 inches line. This distance is 2 inches away from this side line, and it's 4 inches above the knee length. Can you see that? So from there now, connect a straight line down to the 2 inches you have on the hemline. So that you can see that it has given you a pencil shape. Please avoid this place being sharp. If this place is too sharp, just use your French curve to blend it. So this is the hip line. Go up by 4 inches. Minimum of 4 inches, and go in by 2 inches. Then you connect your hip shape to that point. Then the 2 inches you have already on the hemline, connect it straight. Now you will notice that we have not placed our dart. We have not placed our dart at the front. Now, how do you get? We are going to make 1 inch as our dart allowance. Now, how to place it? Is your nipple to nipple measurement that determine your bust? That determine your dart placement. You can use your nipple to nipple measurement to place your dart. So if you are talking about that, just divide your bust circumference by 8 and minus 1. So with this measurement parameter, the bust measurement is 36 divided by 8 minus 1 is 3.5. So that will be my dart placement. So from this my point O, I'm going to come in by 3.5. So that is the 3.5. Then I will connect a straight line up to 4 inches. So that is my mid dart line. For having a dart of 1 inch, is going to be 0.5 on both sides. So that is my dart. So whatever your bust circumference is, divide by 8 minus 1. It will help you to place your dart. And the length of the dart I'm working with is 4 inches. That is my dart placement. Now, to continue with contouring, go up on this from your waistline. Just take it up by ½ inch. Can you see? Just take it up by ½ inch. When you take it up on the waistline, take up your waist point up by ½ inch. Then connect it to your dart leg. Can you see it? Connect it to your dart leg with your French curve. To the first dart leg. Then from your point O, go down by ½ inch and connect again to the other dart leg. Connect it again to the other dart leg. By the time you collapse your dart, your dart leg will still remain the same. And coming down from point O is to avoid your skirt gaping or having unnecessary fold at the front. So that is it. That is how to shape the skirt, the front skirt at the upper part. I take it up by ½ inch, connect with your French curve to the first dart leg, to the dart leg to your left hand side. Then the one to your right hand side, take it down by 0.5 cm. Up here 0.5, down here 0.5, meeting at the dart legs. Meeting at so that when you are sewing your dart, the line will be equal. So we are done with the front. This is how to contour the front. Now let's go and contour the back. Because you have taken the front up here, you should also do the same to the back. So you take the waist point at the back up by 0.5 and you connect it again. This time you are not going down. You just connect it back to your point O. That is your front. You do the same to place your dart. The distance of the dart leg is 3.5. So this is my 3.5. You take it straight down by 4 to 5 inches. Then you connect your dart 0.5 on both sides. So, for shaping this, you may just stop. You may just stop at the dart leg that is closer to your waist point, just here. so that your dart can be intact when you are picking it. Now, for us to contour the back, exactly the same thing you do at the hemline here, you are going to do the same. So from the knee length line, go up by 4 inches along the side seam line. This is the 4 inches. Then just drop a short parallel line to the knee length line, like 2 inches so. Then connect to that point with your French curve to your hip point, bringing out the hip shape. And so, then when you have done that, the 2 inches below you come in 2 inches on the hemline. This is your hemline. Come in 2 inches, just like you do at the front. Then connect a straight line meeting here. So that is the shape. That's the side shape of the back pattern. It's almost exactly the same thing we do here. You are coming in, you are going up by 4 inches on the knee length. Then drop a short parallel line of about 2 inches at the 4 inches above the hip line. Just come in by the same 2 inches. Connect to your hip line to bring out the shape. Then take a straight line to the 2 inches on the hemline. That is that. Now, to shape it at the hip side, I want you to take note that this center line, the ideal thing is to have the zipper allowance, which is like 1 inch. Let's take this for the zipper allowance. Please, I want you to follow me. So I want you to give attention to this. This is meant to be the zipper allowance. Now, from the center front, you are coming out from the center front. This is center back rather. This is meant to be your zipper allowance. You are coming into the zipper allowance now. You are coming into the zipper allowance along the hip line at the center back. You are coming out by ½ inch. This is ½ inch. Especially in situations where the difference between the waist and the hip is lesser than 10 inches. But if it is more than 10 inches, you will come out by 1 inch. Please, I take that again. When the difference between your waist and the hip, in this circumstance, in this measurement parameter is less than 10, so I'm coming out by ½ inch into my zipper allowance along the hip line. But when it's more than 10, when the difference between waist and hip is more than 10 inch, then I'm coming out by 1 inch. So, but here now I'm using 0.5 because the difference between the waist and hip is less than 10 inches. So you will come out. This is the hip line at the center back. You are coming out. The idea is to appropriate small measurement. It's just to shoot out the hip at the hip measurement at the back in order to accommodate the butt. So that is what we are trying to achieve here. You are coming outside of the zipper of the center back now. You are coming out into the zipper allowance. In a situation where the difference between the waist and the hip is less than 10 inch, you will take ½ inch. But if it is more than 10 inches, you will come out by 1 inch. Now, at the waistline, look at the waistline on the center back. We have a depth, we have a natural depth at the center back here. So we are going to create a room for that depth. So you are coming in on the waistline at the center back where we have your point O. You are also coming in by ½ inch. This is the ½ inch. You are coming in by ½ inch. Now, find the midpoint between your point O to your hip line. The distance between point O to the hip, between your waist to the hip, is around 11 cm, which is like 4 1/4. So let's take this point is the is the halfway in between your waistline to your hip line. You now connect it, you connect it this way as if you are drawing a dart leg. Can you see it? Now, this is your hip point at the center back. This is your hip where you have come in by half. You will connect with your French curve. Please look at it. You place your French curve this way, connecting it to this line. Can you see it? You are connecting it this way. Can you see it? Then you are going down, see, from the hip line, from this hip line, go down by another 4 inches to connect, to bring out this shape. Can you see how I turn my French curve again? To bring out this shape. Can you see the butt shape? This half-inch extension is meant to accommodate the butt. Then, you don't forget that you go in here by half inch to create like a dart line, which will give you a more fitting shape at the center back, then bringing out the shape of the butt. Like 4 inches below and above is what we have worked with here. Can you see? 4 inches, like that is the midline between your waistline and your hip line. This is the midline. From this midline, you take half inch, like slant down to the waistline. You come out again by half inch. You go in again by half inch. That is what will give you the accommodation for the butt. Then you are connecting it back to your main center line. Please avoid unnecessary sharp ends. Blend your French curve blend here with your French curve up and down. Blend it with your French curve to accommodate the butt. Now, on this note, I want you to know that, please, on this note, from here, we take our new zipper allowance from this point where we come in by half inch. Take 1 inch for your zipper allowance. From here again, take 1 inch for your zipper allowance. Just following the shape, take 1 inch for your zipper allowance. So by the time you do that, this is what you are going to have. Please look at, this is what you are, it's not a perfect straight line. It means that you must follow the shape to have your new zipper allowance. Can you see that? Can you see the new zipper allowance? Going this way again. Please, I hope you understand how you are going to manipulate your French curve to arrive at the right shape. Can you see that? So that is the new zipper allowance. Please, I take this off so that you can see clearly the zipper allowance. So that will be the zipper allowance. Avoid unnecessary bulge. If there is unnecessary bulge, try and blend very well with your French curve. So this will now be the new zipper allowance. This will be the new zipper allowance. Following that shape, we give you the new zipper allowance. So that is the shape. That is the shape for the new zipper allowance. You can see the bulge. You can see where we add more fullness. When you want to join, so this will now be your new center back line. This is your new center back line, and this is your new zipper allowance. Following that shape, we give you the contour pencil skirt as we have done to the front and the back pattern. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to sew this skirt, how to configure this, how to sew it, how to construct it. You can either sew it as a bandless skirt or with band. I want you to take note of this slant shape. Because of this slant shape, you cannot have a straight band. Your skirt band must follow this shape. So I hope that you will follow up the next video so that you understand how to construct the skirt. Thank you. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. God bless you.